Our News on Terror segment tonight, 90 people killed in a horrific suicide bombing in Kabul, Afghanistan. 11 U.S. citizens among those injured. This is just the latest attack by radical Islamists against the civilized world. But where's the coverage from the mainstream media? Where are all the profile pictures changed on social media? Where are the hashtags? Where's the moment of silence for one of the largest terror attacks of the entire Afghanistan war? Where's the outrage from the world? Watch.
A powerful bomb detonating during morning rush hour in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. Hidden in a sewage tanker, the blast rocked the area near the presidential palace and foreign embassies. Scores of people are dead and hundreds wounded. Amongst the scenes of chaos, victims were piled into vehicles and raced to the city's hospitals. The blast was centred near the German embassy, killing a security guard and wounding some staff. But the exact target isn't clear. The Taliban has denied responsibility, condemning attacks that have no legitimate target and kill civilians. The other main militant group active in Afghanistan, Islamic State, has carried out high-profile attacks in Kabul before. The blast comes at the start of the holy month of Ramadan.
The United States strongly condemns this attack, which came during the holy month of Ramadan, and our embassy will continue to work with our Afghan and coalition partners to provide assistance and help bring the perpetrators of this attack to justice. The President just concluded a call with the President of Afghanistan to relay our deepest condolences, and we will have a readout of that call shortly.
With me now, retired CIA operations officer Sam Faddis. Sam, thanks for being on the show.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Sam, this is such a hard topic to talk about. 90 people killed. 90 people, 400 others injured here. Listen, I guess I don't understand this. I need you to explain this to me, because a couple weeks ago, when the Manchester attack happened, there was over 20 people killed, and the entire world stopped for a moment. We stopped, we grieved, we prayed. You know, we sent our good wishes, we sent money, we did what we could. But Sam, when the majority of the victims of one of these attacks are Muslim, nobody even seems to notice.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're exactly right. There's clearly a double standard. Somehow or another, the press has decided that in general, I think we're going to ignore everything that's going on in Afghanistan.
Right, and listen to this statistic. This is from the U.S. National Counterterrorism Center. It says, in cases where the religious affiliation of terrorism casualties could be determined, Muslims suffered between 82 and 97% of fatalities over the past 5 years. I mean, talk about an overwhelming majority. Whether this was ISIS, whether it was the Taliban, whether it was an affiliate of the Taliban, we're almost certain it was a radical Islamist. The majority of the victims of these terror attacks are Muslim.
Yeah, and it's absolutely true in this case, and as you indicated, it's true worldwide. I mean, in my experience running operations abroad, most of the guys dying on our side were always Muslims on our side of the fight, fighting against the terrorists. We ought to remember that.
Right, so let me ask you this then. Why is this ignored? Why is it ignored by Democrats, elected officials? Why is it ignored by liberals in the media? Why is this ignored by, Muslims themselves, peaceful Muslims in America and around the world? Why is this so ignored?
Yeah, I don't know. I think because we have these pre-scripted narratives on all sides that everything's supposed to fit into, and somehow this doesn't fit that narrative. I mean, if we're fighting against Islamic terror, that means all of us, regardless of religion, are fighting against Islamic terror. And we ought to acknowledge all of the victims, regardless of religion, affiliation, anything else.
Right, and you would think, in a sense, that peaceful Muslims would be the ones speaking up the loudest, because they're the ones who are suffering the most casualties. We need to eradicate that perverted version for the good of all people, Christian and Muslim, around the world. Sam, let me ask you, though, about Afghanistan. I mean, a comment that you made just a moment ago. You said that, the mainstream media is ignoring almost everything of what's happening in Afghanistan right now, and that's a good point, because it's accurate. Also, what is being ignored is the resurgence of the Taliban. We don't have 100% proof that the Taliban was behind this attack. There are reports that it could be a group affiliated with the Taliban, perhaps sponsored by the Taliban. What is their goal in Afghanistan?
Their goal is to retake the country. The unfortunate truth that this attack brings out is they're well on their way to doing that. We're not winning in Afghanistan. Things are not going well. If we don't change course and do something about that, things are going to get a lot worse. I would predict that the Taliban carried out the attack and that they probably didn't want that device to go off exactly where it did in the diplomatic quarter. They didn't expect to kill that many Afghans. And so now they're taking a little bit of time to try to figure out whether they're going to accept responsibility or not, because it's not really the kind of press they expected.
Right, right. They wanted to, yeah, they didn't want to be killing their own people here. I mean, it's so messed up. The mentality of this is so twisted. I mean, what was their ultimate goal then? Were they trying to hit the embassies, the Western embassies? Because they were pretty nearby to where those were.
They were very nearby. I would expect that ultimately what it'll be will be there will be a specific target within there. In other words, they wanted to get closer to more Western targets, and therefore, since they did not, they're now back on their heels a little bit in terms of the implications. But it doesn't change the overall arc of things in Afghanistan. We're not winning. We're losing. The Taliban is resurgent. And we need to regroup and figure out what we're doing and figure out what victory looks like in Afghanistan.
Right, you're absolutely correct. It also doesn't change the fact that radical Islamists kill indiscriminately. If they can't get to their ultimate goal, which is bad enough, innocent people from the West, then they'll just kill anybody. 90 people going about their daily lives. It's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking.